you had probably one of the most spectacular crashes
I did.
at Talladega.
I have to thank you for bringing that up, Bill. I appreciate that.
You keep on, he gonna hang up the phone on you.
I gotta go. Yeah. Well, but the reason I asked and want to talk about it is because I saw it, and I remember seeing it, of course, back in 2003 as a race fan, but really didn't kind of, it's not permanently in your brain. And I saw it probably about 10 times last night.
Which one was this?
This was 2003. I saw
It's
both of them.
2003, yeah. So
All you got to do is type in Elliott Sadler crashes on YouTube. And bam,
a bunch
it's right
of them
there.
come up. I mean,
It's awesome.
pages after pages.
It's awesome.
So in 2003, Bill, that was the fastest race car I have ever had. That is the fastest car I've ever sat in compared to everybody else. We sat on the pole that day. We had a pit stop miscue, and I went to the rear of the field, and I was coming back up through the field. And I had a good run coming down the middle of the backstretch. It was 3 lanes, and I'm coming through the middle, and Dale Jr. is kind of blocking lane to lane. He's leading. Well, there's one rule at Talladega that we all know as race car drivers. You do not wreck Dale Earnhardt Jr. You just do not. You can wreck anybody else there you want, but you just do not wreck that car.
Is that about a safety issue after the race is over?
That is about getting home, with all your teeth and still in your head. So anyway, when I'm coming down the middle, he tries to make a late block from the top lane to the middle lane to slow me down. Well, I swerve to miss him and come across Kurt Busch's nose. He was driving a 97 Sharpie car at the time. When he did that, it just clipped me into the grass and my car went straight up. And the hardest thing to explain to people, when you're spinning out on asphalt, you can hear the tires, screeching and making noise. But when it goes up in the air, it gets extremely silent, really quiet. So I'm up in the air, and I kind of look out the left, and I can see the catch fence, and I see the racetrack. So I'm kind of going up backwards. And then you start flipping, and I just kind of get in the fetal position. I tuck my head, and I grab the bottom of the steering wheel with both hands, and I get as low as I can in the car and just hold on until it finally finishes. Well, the weird part about that is when I flipped so much, the radio wire was run around the top of the race car. It cut it. So when they're calling me on the radio asking me if I'm okay, I don't answer. I don't hear them because the radio wire's cut. And it looks like I've been gardening, Bill. I had grass and dirt and mulch and mud and everything all over me because we were flipping so much in the grass.
It's like 5 times you flipped.
It was. So they get me out the car. They put me on a stretcher. They take me to the infield care center. So they lay me down, and they have nurses and doctors all around me. Well, the doctors, they're asking me all these questions, right? Who are you? Who's the president? What town are you from? Just to see where your mental state is. And I felt like I passed the test pretty well. I felt like I answered all the questions. So then the doctor says, well, we need to run an IV. Well, I hate needles more than anything in the world. No, you're not running an IV. Yes, we are. We have to run. You are not putting an IV in me. That's not going to happen. You are not sticking me with a needle. Yes, you are. So the doctor took his hand, and I know it's hard for me to visualize this, but he took his hand and put it on my forehead and pinned me down to start a needle. So I grabbed his hand and told him I was going to whoop his ass if he put his hand on me
Luckily,
again.
he didn't talk to Victoria Mars like this.
No. I was mad.
Doctor will not be sponsoring his car.
Yeah, so because I said, dude, I answered all your questions. You're not putting a needle in me. And they said, Elliott, you're not acting right. You must have a major concussion. You have to go to University of Alabama, Birmingham. I ain't going to University of Alabama, Birmingham. I'm going home. So Mike Helton came in. And this is all in the infield care center. He said, Elliott, if you want to race next week, you have to get on the helicopter, and they're going to fly you to University of Alabama, Birmingham to do a CAT scan. So all of that took place in the infield care center. So the next thing they show on freaking TV is me being put in the helicopter where my mom is at home watching TV. So she sees that. And she's trying to get in touch with my
Are you saying when Mike Hilton walked in, things changed?
Things change. Things always change a little bit with Mike's around. So anyway, they flew me to Alabama, Birmingham, but I was fine and all from the wreck. But that was the backstory scoop on what happened when somebody tried to stick a needle in my arm. I was not for it at that time.